Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
Happy Thursday to you and the start of the weekend. I'm Weatherman Dustin Staples. Thanks for your company as always, making us a part of your weekend as you're getting that rocking and rolling for sure. The final of few days that it's been so cold, they're now coming to an end. Now we're going to begin to see a warming trend move in our direction as well. So if you have been tired of the cold and you want to warm up, it is coming, and of course, Luis noted earlier this week on our newscast that he had to pull out his heavy, long overcoat, and so most of you probably had to do that. And this morning it was pretty frosty in some parts of the area, and we begin to see that sunshine do its magic and burn that off. We got up to the low to mid 50s today, so not a bad afternoon it was in store for us. So if you took advantage of it, I hope you had a chance to enjoy a little bit of the warmth weather. The winds have also you've been noticing a shift in the winds. They've been coming from the west. Now we're going to have a southerly flow that's going to allow our temperatures to warm up this upcoming weekend, which is why we are going to see a warming trend moving in as well. Again, the rest of tonight we're going to begin to see clear skies developing once again. Another cold night in the making as our temperatures will dip in the low 30s and upper 20s again. So again, not as drastically as it cold, but I think by this point in time we're getting so used to it. You're thinking, man, are we sure we're not in like November? Because late November, this is we begin to see this kind of hints of cold moving on in, but nope, we're still in October. So, because if we would have done that, we would have blew through Halloween if we wouldn't have recognized it anyway. So maybe a lot of you are in the holiday spirit because it's been so cold, and just do know that tomorrow it's going to, after a cold start, look at that, lots of sunshine and a lot warmer than we were about a couple of days ago. So with that sunny sky and again that southerly flow, it's going to begin to move in this weekend for us, allowing our temperatures to kind of skyrocket and get back to where we need to be for the month of October. The high of 66. Again, that's here in the city and the county, and of course everywhere else you go, not a bad afternoon. So again, we have that southerly flow moving in, allowing our temperatures to warm up near not near normal, but we are gradually getting and working towards there as you make your weekend plans. So make sure the kids, if they're having recess outdoors tomorrow, have a light coat with them in the morning or in the afternoon, rather, I shall say. Let's talk about everybody's favorite thing to discuss. Of course, Thursday night football is at Martinsville. They're on the road this week. They're traveling out this weekend. So good luck to the Bulldogs. Of course, the Magna Vista Warriors, they had a show last Friday, that was for sure, as they got a win against Martinsville. So good job to Magna Vista, and also congratulations to the Bulldogs with an outstanding record, 6-1. Will they be 6-2? 6-2? We'll see as we get closer, or 7-1, I guess I shall say, on that note as well. So good luck to the Bulldogs on this Thursday, and again, Friday night football. We're heading back to Bassett. A couple of weeks ago we were over there, and now we're back again as the GW Eagles are making a visit to the Bengals territory. We'll begin to see lots of clear skies come into play as our temperatures will go from the 50s and gradually dropping to the 40s overnight this Friday night. So if you have any plans, maybe not going to a football game, maybe doing some, Halloween shopping, because Halloween is next weekend. So if you have got that costume, go ahead and make sure you get your shopping done, or get you a pumpkin even. We want to see what you're carving up a storm on your front porch. Later on that evening, as we get towards the third and fourth quarter hours, things are going to remain calm and quiet. Clear and cold too, so if you have any, you'd be best to get you a stadium blanket and get you a nice cup of hot chocolate, apple cider, or pumpkin spice. I'll put a poll on my Facebook page later and you can fill that out. What do you prefer, pumpkin spice? Do you prefer apple cider, or do you prefer hot chocolate? Because a lot of people have this debate that this is that time of year where they do get people say pumpkin spice, people say apple cider. Personally, I like apple cider. I have not had pumpkin spice, but I will. Might have to get some of the weekend since we're getting pretty cold. I know by this point in time, I would have had some sort of form of that. Here is a look at your weekend forecast. We're going to begin. I'm sorry, that is not your weekend forecast. Here it is. My computer decided to go funny on me. Lots of sunshine for there. So for Saturday, abundant sunshine. back to near where we need to be. Nothing like cold December weather, but beautiful October weather in store for us. Maybe going to the farmer's market Saturday morning. Remember, it's going to be pretty chilly out there, so bundle up later in that morning. You'll be able to gradually put that coat away in the afternoon with near seasonable weather. So a fall perfect forecast is in the making for us. Same story on Sunday. We will begin to see a few more clouds moving in, but again, that 40% chance is not, no rain expected. So again, my computer, if you've been noticing this week, I'm going to be sure to get this fixed next week before we get back on our Monday newscast over the weekend. So stay tuned for that. I'll have all that fixed for you. It's just been one of those weeks where technology wants to have its own mindset. So Sunday, again, plenty of clouds in the morning. We'll see some afternoon sunshine, and a lot of sunshine moves in for Monday, and it does appear we begin a warming trend and getting back to seasonably warm for this time of the month. So keep that in mind as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the winter. Since it's been feeling like winter, I guess we might as well go and discuss this. So earlier this week, on Thursday, the 20th of October, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, of course, this government logo you see here, they're putting that on there, released their winter outlook predictions. We're going to begin here with the temperatures because I know a lot of you want to know, what are we in for? How much we're going to see? How cold is it going to get? So right now, this is just a collective amount from from December to February. The climatology report comes out every so often, and what they've done, they have collaboratively put together a prediction of what is expected to come for us as well. So you kind of see here, I don't want you thinking we're not going to get cold. First of all, we are going to get cold this winter. This is just an average or a data analysis they put together and looking at over hundreds of computer models and data. You kind of see here much of the U.S. is expected to remain just under some sort of, the map is pretty evenly divided if you look at it here. We have at or just above average. We're running right above average right now, and you kind of see that percentage here. It's about a 33 to 40% just a run above the average. So keep in mind that, you know, this is, don't think we're not going to see any cold weather. We are for sure. This is just saying that we're going to run at or just above average. Meanwhile, the cold weather, you have to head back to the north where they're possibly, you know, they've already seen snow in temperatures in the 20s and teens already. Parts of Minnesota, Illinois, and Montana, even Kentucky, even picking up a little snowfall. Paducah area seeing a little bit of snow flurries this week. They've already seen their first flakes fall. We haven't seen any snow reports, as far as I'm aware, in our neck of the woods. So right now, the prediction for some warm temperatures are out there for this upcoming winter. And once again, let me reiterate, we will see some cold weather in spurt of this. Now let's go ahead and talk about the drought, because this is also something that's going to be not impacting us, but you see there everywhere else, just about maybe 60% or 75% of the U.S. is under some form of drought, moderate and or a developing of drought out towards Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, the Dakotas, Nebraska, parts of California, continuing to deal with their droughts. Of course, there has been smoke out there. There's been some wildfire reports out towards there a few weeks ago, seeing some of that smoke move up there. So they're going to remain to see a drought, unfortunately, to develop and persist. And now I'm going to show you this. And you see why they are persisting to see a drought, because not much precipitation is expected for this part of the region. So remember, I showed you that brown blob was all over here, and that's because they are going to see the potential for a drought to develop. They have been in a 30-year drought for so long at this point now. They've unfortunately been so used to it. And of course, the wildfire season is still underway at this point in time. A lot of the people out there are a little worried about what's going to happen by this point with the forestry, because it's been so smoke ventilating. A lot of wildlife has died. A lot of plant life out there. Forestry can't even survive for more than a few months even without having some form of wildfire. So of course, that all goes into effect with climate change, global warming, whatever you believe. I'm not on my soapbox about that today, but this is the winter precipitation outlook. You can kind of see in Virginia right here, we're just on the little fringe line of getting little or just almost near normal precipitation levels. So we are going to see some form of precipitation. The green towards the Midwest states could see more snowfall, averaged above snowfall. And again, our friends towards the Pacific Northwest, where of course they are dealing with that smoke and that wildfire threat as well. So they'll take any precipitation they get. Obviously, right now we'll keep a close eye on it. Of course, the main focus for us, once we get moisture coming in from the south, we have to get that cold air matching. And once we get that combined, those cold air and that moisture aligned with it, a lot of times we will get our snowfall. So right now, maybe a near average snowfall season's in the making. And I know a lot of you think, man, we haven't had a good snow in a while. 2018, I'm sure a lot of you remember the big snow right around the 1st of December. We got about that 20-inch snowstorm, and that lasted, seemed like forever. And of course, this past winter, we had the early January snow. We had 2 January snows on that note. One of the very first of the year, remember, it was like 78 degrees, and like 2 days later, we got like 5 inches of snow. So letting you know that, Mother Nature is going to be keeping us on our toes, it looks like, for this coming up winter. You all have a wonderful weekend. Y'all have enjoy the football games. Congrats, and go to any local high school sport. Chad's coming up next to talk more about that. Y'all take care, and we'll continue the conversation next week with some warmer weather on Monday.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer